fire service. Yes, ma'am. You have a fire where? Hannah's on Lambton Quay. On the first floor, is it? Do you say first floor? First floor, Hannah's Lambton Quay. Okay, thank you, ma'am. We'll attend to it. By 111 to a property fire.
Wellington to W17.
Hannah's building, Lambton Quay.
Redirection.
Headquarters 1.
Hannah's building, Lambton Quay.
To respond.
Smoke showing.
By 111.
Second floor.
Property fire.
Headquarters 1.
Hannah's
Headquarters
building, Lambton
2.
Quay. Headquarters
Score
1.
also
Headquarters 2.
responding. Out of Roger W55. Persons reported time 1548 hours.
Ambulance. Yep, fire here. We have a person's reported in Hannah's Lambton Quay. No number at this stage.
Will you have the MED cut the power off at Lambton Quay? The gas company also attempts to check the building service.
Roger W51. Assistance message received. Timed 1606 hours. Out.
All squads available, Vicky. Yes, Television 1. Central Fire Control here. We want a message put across the channel as following. Full availability is now instituted. All squads report to their stations. That's correct. We have a major fire at Hannah's and Lambton Quay.
The Hannah's building, similar to many of that vintage in Wellington, presented problems to firefighting on the fire ground at that time. Some 40 persons to be rescued from upper floors and the veranda, a rapidly spreading fire deep-seated in the building, required considerable efficiency on the brigade's part to have those rescues carried out and simultaneously endeavour to attack and subdue the fire. Unfortunately, the conditions within the building became such that it was a danger to the firemen, and they were withdrawn, and it developed into a 6-hour battle to put it out.
What was it like up there? How did you find out about it?
Bloody scary. Where were you when the fire broke out?
In the ladies' toilet.
And what happened? What did you do?
I don't know, I knocked on the door to get back in to our office because they couldn't get back into the door.
And how did you get down from there?
On the fire thing.
Control of the situation as far as the firefighting operations went, but indeed to enter into a building of that type in the condition it was at the time is an extremely hazardous situation, one in which firemen do not go into normally. The fire had to be fought from outside and from aerial devices. From the initial predetermined attendance of 3 appliances and snorkel and turntable ladder, we eventually finished the fire with 16 fire appliances on the fire ground and in excess of 90 men. The building itself was strategically situated regarding water supplies, and this indeed did not present any problems. However, the position on a busy artery in Wellington City, mid-Friday afternoon, the building was fully occupied, and on the initial attendance of appliances presented a major problem for those attending. Very lengthy, detailed investigations after the fire established that the supposed cause was a discarded match in a waste paper basket. This led to a small fire in an office on the first floor, which failed to be extinguished. The door was left open, and it subsequently went through the hall, into the lift well and the staircase, and mushroomed up through the building.
What about coming down on the snorkel?
Oh, that was no bother at all. I was just glad to get off that balcony. It really was.
Did you know if there were any other people in the building at that stage?
I really don't know if there was anyone else on our floor or not, no. No, I really don't know. All the people in our office got out okay, but there's no way we could check the rest of the floor because, as I say, we couldn't even get out of the office onto the landing. It was full of smoke.
Were there no stairs to get down?
There's a fire escape just round through the other side of the lift well, but we couldn't even get out into the lift well. So, out on the balcony was the only choice that we had.
The priorities are obviously rescue of persons, which indeed in this case was completely carried out to our knowledge, but unfortunately one person who was trapped in an upper floor unknown to us succumbed during that fire and was found sometime later.
As the fire police team carry out salvage on the ground floor along the NAC frontage and also to assist crowds who are on the track.
All 3 services worked in close conjunction with each other, although we set up, in this case, individual control points. They liaised and we worked together as a unit, and we had committees that pre-organised this, and indeed this operated quite successfully at Hannah's between the police, the ambulance and the fire service. There is no doubt whatsoever that the professional approach of the lowest man in the brigade assisted in subduing that fire in 6 hours. public support is a very valuable asset, and close liaison with local authorities, again, assists in us maintaining a higher standard of building construction and means of escape in case of fire. The evacuation of buildings regulations is one which requires owners of buildings to provide adequate evacuation, a safeguard for getting persons out of buildings, and other regulations governing the construction and alterations to buildings. And we make recommendations which in many cases and are usually adhered to. In some cases, of course, they are not.
This film was made for the Fire Safety Division of the New Zealand Fire Service Commission.